He left chasing wealth, leaving behind the woman who built him from nothing. 2 years later, the millionaire returned to his old farm, only to freeze when he saw his black ex-wife work in the fields with triplets who looked exactly like him. But one child wasn't by blood, and the truth behind her kindness would change everything he believed about love, pride, and family. Before we dive in, let us know in the comments what time is it and where are you watching from. Let's start. Ethan Hale had always believed that love was fuel, something to burn on the way to success. When he married Amara, he was still a struggling dreamer living on borrowed hope and her patience. She kept the house together, planted corn, stitched clothes for neighbors, and said, "One day your ideas will feed people the way this field feeds us." But when investors finally called, the voice inside him changed. City lights, contracts, money. Everything she had helped him chase became the reason he thought she was holding him back. Their last fight was brutal. "You'll never understand business," he'd shouted, slamming the door. "And you'll never understand love," she had cried back. He left before sunrise, leaving behind the smell of soil and the woman who had built his backbone. He didn't know that the nausea she felt that morning wasn't from tears, but the first signs of pregnancy. Amara refused to chase him. She'd already done enough chasing. By the time she realized she was carrying his children, Ethan's assistant had blocked her number, and his lawyer had mailed the divorce papers. No explanation, just signatures. She signed them with shaken hands and whispered, "I won't beg." 9 months later, in the same small room where she was born, she gave birth to twin girls, soft-skinned, pale-eyed, both unmistakably Ethans. She named them Lee and Leia because they came together and healed her together. A few weeks later, while delivering vegetables to the local hospital, she heard the cry of a newborn boy echo down the hallway. The nurses whispered that his mother had died. No family, no name on the chart. The baby's tiny fist clutched Amara's finger and wouldn't let go. She didn't think twice. "You have a home now," she murmured. She called him Samuel. The village judged quietly, but Amara never explained. "A child doesn't need a reason to be loved," she said, and kept working the fields. Her life became a rhythm of soil, sweat, and laughter. 3 bobbies crawling among the cornrows while she weeded, their giggles louder than gossip. 2 years passed before Ethan returned. Success had made him rich, restless, and lonely. A real estate deal had led him back to the countryside. He just bought several acres for expansion. The paperwork said the caretaker was a local woman named Amara Niobe. He hadn't noticed the surname until the car rolled past the old fence and the memory hit like a punch. He stepped out, adjusting his spotless white shirt, scanning the field. Sunlight shimmered over green stalks. A figure knelt between the rows. Olive dress, brown skin gleaming with sweat braid tied low against her back. His chest tightened. He called out, "Hey, I'm looking for Amara Niobe." She turned slowly. The years hadn't hardened her. They carved strength into her silence for a heartbeat. He forgot to breathe. "Ethan," she said quietly, not surprised. "I heard you were buying everything you can't remember owning." He forced a laugh. "You could have changed your number, you blocked it," she answered, turning back to her plants. The tone cut deeper than any shout. He moved closer, anger hiding the guilt. "So this is what you've been doing, playing farmer after the divorce." Her hands didn't stop moving. "Some of us don't get paid to pretend we're still human." "Still dramatic," he muttered. "Still arrogant," she replied. He looked around the small clearing. Tidy rows, wooden fence, the scent of earth. Then something caught his eye. A wooden crate beside the fence. 3 small shapes shifting inside. He frowned. "You're babysitting now." Amara didn't look up. "I'm raising children." He walked closer. The first little girl looked up. Blue-gray eyes, his exact shade, staring straight through him. His smile froze. The second one turned too. The same face again, the same eyes. His heart stuttered. He whispered, "No, that's not possible." The twins blinked at him curiously, identical curls shining in the sun. Then a third child, darker-skinned, smaller, crawled between them and grabbed Amara's apron string. The boy's gaze was different, gentle, deep, questioning. Ethan's voice cracked. "Who are they?" Amara finally met his eyes. Her answer was calm, almost tired. "They're mine." He stared at her, then at the twins. "You hid them from me. You hid yourself," she said softly. "I just learned to live." He pointed at the boy and him. "He doesn't even look like us." Her face didn't change. "His mother died alone at the hospital. No one claimed him." I did silence. Only the wind moved through the corn. Ethan's throat tightened. 2 faces that mirrored his own. One face that mirrored her heart. For the first time since he'd built his empire, he didn't know what to say. He took a slow step back, eyes wide, mouth open, but empty of words. Ethan didn't think fatherhood would hit him like that, but it did, and it hit hard. He stood there, the weight of 3 small faces pressing against years of arrogance. Every laugh he had once faked for investors, every deal he'd chased instead of love collapsed into that single moment. Amara picked up the smallest girl, resting her on her hip. The child hid her face in her mother's neck, shy of the stranger, staring like he'd seen ghosts. Ethan finally spoke, voice low. "How old are they?" 18 months, he winced. He counted backward right before he left. "So I walked out," he said bitterly. "And you were pregnant," she finished. "Yes, you walked out before I even knew myself." Silence. The twins tugged at the hem of Amara's dress, unbothered by the storm above them. The boy sat chewing a corn husk, content in the dirt. Ethan rubbed his face. "I should have been here." Amara didn't spare him comfort. "You weren't, and I stopped waiting." He looked at the boy again, "And you took him in." His mother died in childbirth. No name, no family. The nurse begged someone to sign the papers. I signed Ethan. Shook his head slowly. "You're still the same. You can't walk past suffering without picking it up. And you still call compassion a weakness." The edge in her voice cut him deeper than he expected. He swallowed the retort. "Do they know? No, they just know I love them. That's enough for now." A truck pulled up near the fence. One of Ethan's contractors. He turned sharply, barking orders just to have somewhere to throw his confusion. Amara watched in silence until the engine faded again. "You can leave, Ethan. The land signed to your company, you've seen enough." But he didn't move. His hand rested on the fence rail, knuckles white. "I came here to check on an investment. I didn't expect to find my soul buried in it." For the first time, she looked uncertain. The rudeness in him was gone. What remained was a man stripped of excuses. He walked toward the crate. The twins blinked up at him, curious. One reached out, grabbing his finger. Her grip was impossibly small and strong. Something broke open in his chest. "I don't deserve this," he murmured. "No," Amara said, "but they do." He knelt there for a long time, the dirt soaking into his pants, the sound of the fields filling the silence. When he finally stood, his voice trembled. "I can't buy forgiveness, but let me try to be part of their lives." Even from the edges, Amara hesitated, eyes softening. "They don't need your money, Ethan. They need stability. Then give me a chance to learn that word." That night, he stayed at a nearby inn, packing until dawn. Every memory of her kindness replayed. Her hands over his when they planted the first seeds, her laughter when the rain came early, the way she'd said, "Love isn't a contract, Ethan." He had turned those words into a wound. The next morning, he returned uninvited. The twins were chasing each other near the fence. Samuel sat on Max, the old farm dog, giggling. Amara looked up, wary. "I came to help," he said simply, rolling up his sleeves. "I owe the land some sweat." He worked beside her until noon, blistering his polished hands on the hoe. He didn't talk much, she didn't either. But when one of the twins stumbled, he caught her before she hit the dirt. Amara saw it. The reflex, the fear in his eyes, and something shifted quietly between them. Days turned into a week. Ethan canceled his meetings. He learned how to carry a child on his hip, how to mix feed for the hens, how to laugh without a camera watching. One evening, the boy crawled into his lap and fell asleep. Amara found them like that, Ethan sitting under the porch light, holding all the guilt and peace in the world. She sat beside him. "You can't undo the past." "I'm not trying to," he said. "I just don't want to waste what's left." When the twins woke, one of them reached for him, calling softly, "Dad." Ethan froze. The word tore through him like mercy. He pressed his forehead against the child's hair, whispering, "Yeah, Dad's here." Weeks later, paperwork changed again. Ethan transferred the farm to Amara's name and set up a trust for all 3 children. The city could wait. This couldn't. Under the same sun where he once swore he'd never return, Ethan worked beside the woman who had taught him love without conditions. He hadn't planned to be a father. He hadn't planned to stay. But life had a way of dragging a man back to the field where he first learned what it meant to grow. And this time he stayed until sunset. Sometimes the richest people are the ones who have lost the most. This man thought success meant leaving love behind. But fate brought him back to the woman who never stopped caring and to the children who carried his face. What would you have done in his place? Comment below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real emotional stories.